Hey everyone, so today we'll be exploring the question, can you get massive from swordsmanship? And it's a question asked by many young adults looking to get into East Asian swordsmanship like Kendo, Gumdo, and the like, and also, people looking to get into non-East Asian swordsmanship like HEMA. Now, given that young adults tend to make up the majority of my subscribers according to YouTube analytics, I thought it'd be a good question to explore. So, can you get massive? Can you get ripped from swordsmanship? Now, I've been doing East Asian swordsmanship properly for about 3.5, close to 4 years now. And so I think that I've got a pretty good base to talk about it, given that I've been doing it for quite some time. And swords aren't particularly heavy, but on the other side, they're not particularly light. So I like using a relatively heavy for a katana weight sword. So this is 1.3, 1.4 kilos. And swinging this around all day is not particularly easy. So will it get you jacked? Well, the answer is clearly not. Very, very clearly not. So no, it won't make you get massive. At least not in the way that people want to look massive. And so the reason why is because when people look for men being big, they tend to look for the biceps and triceps complex, and that tends to give off the image of, being strong and being big. And in East Asian swordsmanship, then that muscle group doesn't tend to grow because the biceps and triceps are involved in flexion and extension of the elbow, which is not really what you do very much of in East Asian swordsmanship. Our cuts tend to come from the shoulder and also coming from push-pull motion and the gripping of the sword. So with regards to that, then you tend to get good shoulder, good back, you have a good forearm, and also, not sure if you guys can see it, but I think I've got a pretty good thenar eminence from the sword being gripped all the time. Now, if you want to get massive so that you can find, a nice lady who thinks that you're very attractive based on your physical characteristics, then they will not appreciate your thenar eminence, your forearm, your deltoids, and your traps. It's not really what they're looking for. They tend to be looking for your biceps and your triceps. So the answer is no, you won't get jacked in the way that you want, and especially not in a way that you can brag about, because if you're a young male and you're bragging about the size of your forearm, it's not necessarily the best look, because people tend to think that it comes from something else rather than swinging a sword all day. Now the question comes around, well, does that mean that swordsmen are weak? Well, no, because it depends on the type of muscle that you build. So if you want to build big bulky muscle that looks like a bodybuilder, then you go to the gym and you lift very heavy weights with fewer repetitions. That way then you strain the muscle, it breaks down, it rebuilds, and it gets big, and you get hypertrophy of the muscle. Now in swordsmanship, we tend to move a much lighter weight, but we tend to do it very quickly with high acceleration and many, many times, over and over and over for hours of training. And that tends to build much leaner muscle that's smaller in size, but it's still quite strong, still quite useful. And the argument also is that martial artists tend to build far more applicable muscle because we tend to try and use motions that are more efficient using multiple complex muscle groups together to effectively and efficiently do a task. Now, if you're in the gym, that's the exact opposite of what you're doing, because you're trying to create a very inefficient motion so that you put as much strain on a muscle group as you can so that it grows big. And so it doesn't mean that gymmers can't have, a good, well-rounded build, but they have to spend a lot more time at the gym doing it. Whereas doing martial arts like swordsmanship, then we're doing one motion that's working all of those muscle groups at the same time. And, I tend to find that most of the things that I want to do, I don't struggle with strength. It's not something that I struggle with despite being a very small, very lean-looking man. So, can you get jacked from swordsmanship? Unfortunately, no. But is swordsmanship still worth your time? Well, I hope so, because you'll gain a lot of effective skills that you'll be able to use, as well as it's pretty cool being able to, swing a sword and train in this way and have that be your daily exercise to keep fit and healthy. Now, the other thing is that I think that swinging a sword around in training is a lot more fun than sitting in a gym full of other sweaty men, pumping iron over and over and over again, and then going and drinking protein shakes. But, that's my personal opinion. Not everyone shares that opinion, and that's okay. So I hope that if you've got this question and you're looking to get jacked through swordsmanship, then you find other ways to get jacked if that's your end goal, or you just accept that you may never be as big as you want to be, and that's also okay. So with that, I'll see you next time.